All right, I got Quentin here manning the Flight Scope X3 radar. Let me go ahead and hit a couple of these shots and let's dive into those three things we just talked about. Talk about if you do the wrong thing, it can really cut into your distance. So let me go ahead and hit a few shots here and we'll compare the numbers to you. So on this first one, this is the set the club early. And a lot of times what happens with this, it's not really necessarily that setting the club early is a bad thing. It's that picking the club up with just your hands and arms and not rotating your body, your shoulders, is really going to cut off your distance. If you look at PGA Tour players, on average, they're rotating their shoulders about 120 degrees, actually past the golf ball. So if you put a club on your shoulders like this, put the grip end off your left shoulder there, put your fingers up way on the tips of the shoulder, you should be able to rotate enough to get this club past the golf ball. If you do that, you're going to have a potential for a lot of speed. Now, picking the club up early can be one of the worst things you can do to make that happen. So if I pick this club up early, I can get just no shoulder turn at all. I can bend my arms, I can get the club all the way back here to parallel, but you'll see I really haven't rotated my shoulders. I'm not going to have very much power when I do that. So here, let me go ahead and try to hit one cue. I'm just going to pick it up all hands and arms and we'll see what we can do. So I swung as hard as I could and I hit that one well. Dead straight, pretty daggone solid. I mean, that's about as good as I'm going to be able to do with my current athletic ability. I think a bird just pooped on us. Let's. I think we're all right. What are the numbers on the arm swing, the bird poop swing?
The club head speed was almost 102 miles per hour, 272 total distance. Okay,
so on this one, we're going to go ahead and make a little bit wider swing here. I'm really going to load up my shoulders, and then we're going to go ahead and give it a good rip. So here, I'm going to feel like I get very little wrist set in the backswing. I'm really going to rotate my body early in the swing, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit this one. Let me go ahead and try this one out. There we go, much better. Right down the right side of the fairway. Pretty well hit there. What was the club head speed and the distance on that one?
Club head speed was 122 miles per hour. Total distance was 315.
So when I loaded my shoulders more, I was able to get a lot more power. But the key with that was I didn't pick the club up with my hands and arms and just do a hands-arm swing. I really rotated my body quite a bit early in the swing. So that's the first piece. Number two is what we talked about, getting a stretch. So I first mentioned that I want to get as much stretch as I can between my hips and my shoulders. A lot of people will recommend that you don't rotate your hips very much when you do this. So on this swing, I'm going to go ahead and try to hit one. Really feeling like I get tons of stretch. Don't really move my hips very much, and my shoulders are going to turn as much as I can. Let's go ahead and try this one out and see what kind of speed, what kind of distance we can get with this swing. So I felt very stretched out, and I hit that one again. That's as good as I'm ever going to hit a ball. It's dead solid, dead straight. That's about as good as I can do. Now, I felt like I was swinging hard on that one, and that went pretty daggone good. So if you're someone that may be doing that, you may be playing some pretty good golf already, but you don't realize that you have another 10, 20 yards in the bag if you're doing it that way, because that was a good hit shot. What were the numbers on that one, Q?
Club head speed 109 miles per hour, total distance 285, and like you said, you hit it about as good as you can, 1.49 smash factor.
Yeah, so dead solid right on the middle of the club. And again, 109 is pretty daggone good swing speed. If you're not quite as strong or as fast as I am, you may be making that same kind of swing and swinging 90 miles an hour, when in reality, you could be swinging 100 miles an hour or 110 miles an hour. So now, I'm going to do the opposite of that. I still want to have, here's the big misconception. I still want to have that stretch between the hips and the shoulders, but I want to wait until the downswing to get that stretch. So in my backswing, for me, if I really want to crank one out there, and I've done about as much swing speed research as anybody, if I want to crank one out there, I want to go ahead and let my hips really rotate in the backswing, really turn those shoulders, just like the PGA Tour players getting well past 90 degrees. If I restrict these hips, then I can't turn my shoulders, I'm all locked up. I want to go ahead and get a big turn, and then it's in the downswing when my lower body gets my weight shift to the left. That's when you have all the stretch. So players that turn their hips a lot in the backswing have just as much stretch as a player that restricts their hips in the backswing. They're just going to be able to hit it a lot farther. So let's go ahead and try that one out. Again, I'm going to focus in on a big backswing with the hips, and I'm going to see if I can hit it farther than I have any of those shots so far. All right, that one's going to be right beside my other one. Let's see if it lands any farther. It's probably going to be about the same distance, I'm guessing. Pretty well hit. It landed about 3 or 4 yards farther. So what was the speed and the the numbers on that one, Q.
So club head speed was 122 miles per hour and total distance was 307.2.
Okay, so it carried pretty good distance there. Now, finally, let's talk about this lag in the golf swing. You know, me and Q were talking about this. What would you recommend for a player to smooth out that transition and really feel like they get as much lag and as much power as they can in the golf swing?
Yeah, so I think we all understand one big reason. Everyone talks about why you want to get lag. You want to be able to store that energy and then release that as hard as you can. But there's actually another big added benefit to lag as well. And it comes down to something called MOI, or moment of inertia. So without getting super sciencey with it, basically what it means is your resistance to twisting. I'm going to have you do something here to help you kind of feel exactly what that is. So Clay, right now, I want you to get into a point in the downswing where the club's about parallel to the ground. You're casting it as much as possible. So you're casting that. So I want you to kind of get into this position right here. And now I just want you to kind of feel like you're pulling that as much as you can. You feeling that like right here in your side? That's the kind of feeling that I'm talking about. Now if you go to that same position with your hands at the top, but then get some lag, now get that twist a little bit again. Now that's got to feel a lot easier. Does that feel a lot easier, Clegg, to be able to twist when you're doing that?
Yeah, when I get that club right way out there, it's a lot to overcome that to get my body moving forward.
So it's just like a figure skater, right? If you're watching the Olympics, the figure skater, you know, they're twirling around, they're spinning, they got their arms out, and then they start getting much faster when they start bringing their arms in. Now, we don't want to bring our arms in the golf swing. That's going to slow us down, but we want to get that club narrowed up in the downswing so we can lower our resistance to twisting in the downswing. So that's all great. We all understand MOI, great, cool lesson, Q, but how do we actually do that? So one thing that I think is a really great feeling to help you get lag is if you go at the top of the swing, I like to feel like this club is coming down. If we're looking from down the line here, this club is coming down, hitting you right in the tricep. Now this is super extreme, but this is the feeling that you want to have. And look at this crazy sharp angle of lag here that you're getting when you're getting that feeling. Now, in reality, you're not going to be hitting your tricep with the club, but it's a really great feeling to help you get loaded up. And now from here, now you're going to feel like you're going as hard at it as you can to the ball. And that's going to allow you to get all that stored energy and release it hard at the golf ball. So Clay, how about you try one where you get that kind of casting feeling in there. You get a high MOI kind of swing, and then we'll do one
now where I'm casting. I feel like I cannot get there. And I'll tell you what, I have a hard time doing this. Somebody that's, you know, worked a lot to increase club head speed. Such a big part of that is getting a lot of lag. It is tough for me to cast it, but I'll do my best here, and let's see what we can do. Yeah, for me, it feels like once that club gets thrown out, I am working hard just to get my body to open up at all, to get through that shot. It almost feels like it's throwing the brakes on my swing, and I'm just trying to fight through it. And I bet on camera it doesn't even look like I'm casting it that much, you know, but I can really feel a difference in swing speed. What were the numbers there, Q?
So 94.4 miles per hour, and then 242.5 on the total distance.
Yeah, so even though that may not seem crazy slow, maybe that's what you're struggling with right now. Maybe you're working hard, but your club is out here and you feel like you're powering through it, and you're getting that, when you hit one solid, that 240-ish. Maybe you have 280, 290 inside of your body. You just gotta get the right technique to let that come out. So the big thing, like Q was talking about, the big differentiator here is I wanna narrow up the club. I don't wanna narrow up my arms. So a lot of times players will mistake this as me saying, or us saying, narrow up your arms like this, get them tight to your body, and get this big angle of lag. I don't want that to happen. I want this left arm to stay straight in the downswing. It's the club that's narrowing up in the downswing. Feel like it's gonna whack your arm here in the back of your tricep right here. And if you do that, again, never gonna happen. My wrist won't even bend that much. This is the most my wrist will bend. They'll get nowhere near that. But having that feeling, man, it really helps you to exaggerate it and get the result that you wanna have. So here, my left arm stays straight. I'm gonna lag and really let that rip though. So if I'm that figure skater, I'm opening and then I'm just letting it all go out in front. That's when I'm gonna hammer on it. Let's go ahead and give it a whirl. There we go. Not gonna do much better than that one. That may be one of the better ones of the day. So really felt like I got a ton of lag on that one. What were the stats on that one, Q?
Yeah, 121.5 miles per hour, and total distance was 314.2 yards.
Now the big theme throughout this entire video was we have to load up the body in the backswing, and we have to really get that power going through the shot, or finishing that swing would really help with that too. That's what I call the power turn in the Top Speed Golf system. Now, there's a couple secrets to making this happen. Even if you're not very flexible, maybe you're getting up in age, maybe you're a little bit tight, maybe you're just naturally not very flexible, there's tricks to get this good power turn. And if you don't do those tricks, if you don't make this powerful turn in the backswing, there's really just no way to get the speed that you want to have. I'm going to play a preview of one of my best power turn videos. Go ahead and click the card that pops up on your screen, or if you don't see that card, no problem, go ahead and click the link down below in the description. You'll get instant access. I can't wait to help you hit it farther. The correct technique, we can all hit it with really good distance without a lot of muscular effort. And it all starts out, the very first thing you have to do is get a good powerful turn to load up the body. And it's not only in golf, but in all sports we have to rotate the body. At least 90 degrees with the shoulders as you swing to the top. Preferably, we can go even a little bit past 90 to really get loaded up. That's gonna allow us to have a lot of power. So we don't just have to look at golf for this. Let's actually look at other sports. They're rotating their body, then they're coming forward. So we have to get that load. We have to get this big shoulder turn to be able to create power in the golf swing. So in this series of videos, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. That's one of the first keys to getting power, and we're all gonna get at least a 90-degree turn, if not more than that. I think you'll be surprised at what you can do. So let's go ahead and get started with the next series of videos, and I'm gonna show you how to get this big, powerful turn. All right, guys, so before we go, let's take a look at this in action with some of the top pros. Now here we're looking at Adam Scott, and you're going to see as he rotates to the top, good full shoulder turn. This is pretty typical of what I see with the top pros, a little past 90. Those guys are working on their flexibility, so sometimes they can get to 100 or even 110 degrees.